Good morning, everyone. I hate to break up the conversation. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Niagara Falls. I'm sorry it's not a little bit more April-y out there. I feel more like it's October, but hopefully that's going to change soon. Our opening words this morning come to us from Anne Slater. The Persian poet Rumi challenges us. Come, come whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. And we come from rich heritages of liturgy and pomp. We come from burning legacies of angry gods and threats of hellfire. We come just as we are. We come with exuberant and joyful hearts, eager to witness to others. We come just as we are to join our brothers and sisters as members of one family in this beloved home. Our hands and hearts outstretched. Come, yet again come. And will you join me in the words for lighting the chalice? May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers and not to... Oh. This is... Should have pulled the wick up on this morning. Oh, there, it went. Our first hymn is number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning. Next, we'll turn to the back of our hymnal for responsive reading number 645. And of course, we'll need a minute to find that. Song of the Open Road. Afoot and lighthearted, I take to the open road, healthy, free, the world before me. I inhale great draughts of space. The east and west are mine, and the north and south are mine. Whoever you are, come travel with me. However sweet these laid-up stores, however convenient this dwelling, we cannot remain here. Together, the inducements shall be greater. We will sail pathless and wild seas. Forward after the great companions and to belong to them. They too are on the road. To see nothing anywhere but what you may reach it and pass it. To look up or down no road, but it stretches and waits for you. Okay, each week we come into this church bearing the joy and the concerns of our lives. So at this time, we take a few moments to share some of the more significant events that had happened in the past week. We'd like you to come up, take the microphone, and tell us about your joys, your sorrows, and light a candle for yourself and for those around you who share your feelings. Anyone want to start us off? You get to start.
Are we working? Yeah, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Well, the reason why I sang that is because on April 7th, I had cataract surgery. On my right eye, I had my cataract removed, and I have a new implant, and it's getting better with each passing day, and I just love it. Things are clearer. In fact, I can see probably better without my glasses than with them. So this is a moment for me to be thankful that, you know, a new opportunity has arisen where I can see the beauty of flowers more clearly. I can see traffic at night more clearly while I'm driving. That's a big change, and I don't know, it just makes me feel more alive and more beautiful. So I'm very thankful for that, and some of you may have been through the same experience, and you probably feel the same way that I am feeling. So that's a reason for joy. And also, Eric was with me through the whole ordeal, which was I'm thankful for too. And he kind of helped me out. He drove back from where I had my surgery, and let me tell you, I am like a backseat driver, and he does not want to be driving when I'm in the car, so I'm especially thankful for that. So that was what I'd like to share with you today. So I did not know this, but I knew I had one in my right eye because when I went to get a prescription for glasses, she said, you know, you have a cataract and you're going to really notice your vision getting worse. So when I went to the eye doctor, he examined my eyes and he said, yes, he said, you definitely have one in your right eye. He said, you also have one starting in your left eye, but we don't have to deal with that right now. But eventually down the road, I'll have to have it done. But one interesting thing that he said, are you of Scandinavian descent? And I'm thinking, why would he ask that question? He says, because of the structure of your eye and these vertical lines that are in there or something dealing with, he said only individuals of Scandinavian descent have that characteristic. And come to think of it, my grandmother's father was from Denmark, which is a Scandinavian country. So interesting. He said you may have Vikings as ancestors. So anyway, is there anyone else who would like to share a joy or concern? Okay then.
No one else? Thank you. I'm waiting for my cataract to get big enough that they can take it out before I end up with glasses that are like Coke bottles at the bottom.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We do have another joy or concern.
Well, this is a joy for me this morning. I just planted two rose bushes. One where the side of the house at my porch, because the other one last year died. Had it quite a few years, and I left part of it there. I think that part is dead because I wasn't sure, but I just started planting a new one that's only about 6-8 inches tall, and I planted the other one outside of the garage where there's lots of sunlight because they like lots of sunlight. So I'm looking forward to those roses. I probably won't see them this year because they're just little stems now. So looking forward to next year, and we're going to see some bunch of roses.
Nice. Thank you. Do we have any others? No. Patty doesn't have anything this week?
Oh, well, I could always come up with something.
It was you. You never have a quiet week.
I have a funny story. So this is continuing the further saga of the RV. So Wally and Sil, because I had said that it's really important that I get up to Manitoulin to see my 93-year-old brother pretty soon, they decided, since Wally is originally from Australia, to fly to Australia for 2 months. Well, in the interim, the RV, which was actually in indoor storage, the battery froze and cracked. Then he had to order another part, which is coming on Monday, and Jeff and I are going to go and pick it up and bring it over to Canada and get that all taken care of. But he had a funny story. He says, but Patty, I can't get back to pay for it until Friday because my wife Sylvia needs some kind of surgery, which would have cost $40,000 in Canada. So they are flying, well, no, they're already in Turkey. $10,000 round trip for the whole thing, for both of them. Imagine that. So I'll just light a candle for them. Yeah.
Amazing. This explains why I go to Mexico to have my dental work done. Can have a nice trip, get the work done for less than it would cost me here. Okay, and I'm going to light one last candle for any unspoken joys or concerns that we have. And we will take the offering. The weekly offering honors the efforts that we all make to keep the doors of this church open and welcoming to all who pass through them. Please give generously to support our mission to be a welcoming congregation for everyone, no matter where you come from, who you love, or what you believe in. Usually I have a little meditation reading at this point, but as you can see, I'm doing things a little differently. I wanted to show some pictures of my recent trip to Morocco, so it might take me a little longer, and there might be some glitches, but so I thought I'd just eliminate the meditation reading so you didn't have to hang out too long before getting your coffee. Kind of on the spur of the moment, my travel buddy Jane and I booked an overseas adventure tour to Morocco. Taking this tour was really a first for me because I've never thought tours would be the way I wanted to travel. But because we booked at the last moment, we got a great deal, $2,000 for 2 weeks, included everything, not the airfare, but everything except for 2 meals. So, and it was really great accommodations. So we took advantage of that. And this OAT, as they call it, OAT, promised to deliver what I cherish the most about traveling, experiencing the culture of a country, one with minarets dominating almost every single landscape. Thinking back over this impulse buy, I'd say that it was fate or the universe or maybe even the Fool's card in the tarot deck that had a hand in getting me on this particular trip at this particular time. Everything just kind of synced. We had a wonderful guide and we had 15 very easy to travel with people with us. It was kind of interesting. They have a meeting at the beginning of tours, to tell you, when you got to have your suitcase out, what time you got to be out in the morning, and what the general rules are. The first rule on this trip was no talking about American politics. Good rule. They apparently had to send 2 individuals home on different tours because they were getting into terrible arguments about American politics. So that doesn't say much about us, does it? But like the other members of our group, I went on the tour expecting to learn about the history of Morocco, the economy, the lifestyle, and to see some impressive sights and architecture. And what I got was all of the above, and a highly spiritual experience, an introduction to a devout but moderate Muslim country, I had to give credit for that to this guy, our guide, Yasser Bey. Yasser turned out to be more than a great ambassador for Morocco. He was, and I'm sure continues to be, a great ambassador for Islam. Just look at this man. His happiness, contentment with himself, his confidence and compassion for other beings, including this street cat, are written all over his face. But let's start with a little history. Morocco, a country established as an independent state in 783 CE, has existed under a series of dynasties for about 300,000 years. In 1912, it became a colony of France, and it did not achieve its independence again until 1956, when the French finally left and the Alawi dynasty came back into power, building and living in palaces like this one. While under the rule of France, French became the national language, and today Moroccans still study French in school, but the two official languages are now Arabic and Berber. In addition to Sunni Muslims, there are smaller communities of Christians, Jews, and some Baha'i. The king, who is named Mohammed VI, is the commander of the believers, and the Department of a Religion is part of the government. The king lives well, there's no doubt about it. But they have fountains in front of all of his beautiful palaces, but they do not turn the fountains on unless the king is in residence. Now, Unitarian Universalists like ourselves pride ourselves on using the wisdom found in the books of all religions, and our hymnal shows that we recognize Islam has much to offer. The United States, and in fact many parts of the world, exercise caution when it comes to Islam, and rightfully so, because there are extremists, just as there are in other religions. Our current fearless leader is not a fan of Islam, to put it mildly, and anti-Muslim bigotry has shown up in the US on social media through the immigration crackdown and in proposed laws such as the Sharia-Free America Act and the Defeat Sharia Law in America Act, and there is even a Protecting Puppies from Sharia Act. I find that laughable because when I see that photo of Yasser, and what I learned is that everyone in Morocco looks after the street dogs and the street cats. Why do puppies have to be afraid of Sharia law? However, the Sharia law referred to in these bills is a scary form of Islam. It's based on a set of principles from the Quran that certain Muslims interpret in rigidly strict ways. But rigid, strict versions of religion exist everywhere. In the US, we have Christian nationalists, there is the militant religious Zionists, and Haredi extremism in the Jewish faith, and the Hindutva among the Hindus in India. Any fundamentalist is grounded in the belief of an absolute literal truth of sacred texts, which they often manipulate to create personal or political power. Any fundamentalism can incite violence. 6 days after September 11th, 2001, an example of Muslim fundamentalists happened. President George Bush visited a mosque where he found Muslim leaders just as appalled by the Twin Tower attacks as any other American. Mr. Bush said, "When we think of Islam, we think of a faith that brings comfort to 1 billion people around the world. And what is the purpose of religion other than to bring comfort to people. It doesn't matter where you live or what ethnicity or religion you are. Life is not an easy journey. We all need a source of comfort and community. And what I witnessed in Morocco was an Islam that is a source of comfort, not an instigator for violence. It was not at all uncomfortable for me, a Unitarian Universalist, to be in the company of people who are devoted to a set of beliefs that are very different from my own. Because although our beliefs might differ, our values are pretty much the same. I won't lie, there is one exception. Morocco is almost a dry country. Muslims do not drink, and I did miss my afternoon cocktail or glass of wine while I was there. But other than that, our values were pretty much the same. As an ambassador for Morocco and Islam, Yasser began to educate us, first by talking about the importance of guests. As visitors, even we ugly Americans are held in the highest esteem by Muslims. Why? Because in Islam, hosting is an expression of their faith. According to Sunnah, which is the second most important source of Islamic law and guidance after the Quran, offering hospitality is an act of kindness and generosity that is rewarded both in this life and in the hereafter. It is also an opportunity to help the less fortunate. It builds relationships with others, while also providing an opportunity to practice kindness and generosity. The majority of Muslim Moroccans have special rooms to receive guests, sort of like this one. These rooms have long couches placed along the walls, so everyone has a place to sit. Even the Berber family we met, who lived in the middle of nowhere, had this special tent where they entertained. One of our visits was to the home of a farmer named Hamel. Of course, the first thing that Hamel did, as any Moroccan will do for their guests, is offer us tea. They pour the hot tea into glasses filled with mint leaves. We sat down and we drank our tea before going out to visit the animals, get a lesson in brick making. I gotta scroll down a bit here. Which is all of their bricks in their homes are made from mud and straw. That's it. We got a walk through the family orchard, which consists of almond, date, and olive trees, and has a unique way of irrigation that has existed for centuries. And Hamel, surprisingly enough, turned out to have quite a sense of humor. He couldn't speak English, but he told us that he was taking one of our members of our group as his second wife. That was Kate. Kate and her husband Jeffrey were such good souls. They just played along with it, and Kate ended up holding Hamel's hand almost through the entire visit. By the end of the trip, we were all getting a little tired of tea, though we could clearly see the benefits of having an open and welcoming attitude towards guests. This fellow on the left is our Berber host. He hosted us in his tent, and this other fellow is hosting us in a riad, which is a special kind of like an Airbnb, but a guest house where you get to stay, and it was so beautiful. Yasser told us that when he was a young man and had just graduated from college, he decided that he was going to go on a walking tour of Morocco all by himself. And he could do this knowing that he would be received into strangers' homes as though he was family. As Yasser explained to us, once you are a Muslim, you are a brother or a sister, and you are your brother's keeper. Becoming Muslim establishes a spiritual bond that surpasses race, nationality, and social status, uniting believers through their shared faith. Like our UU values of love, equity, and generosity, Islamic teachings eliminate caste, race, and social hierarchies. Muslims treat each other as equals, which is a practice that they demonstrate daily by standing shoulder to shoulder in prayer. They are encouraged to support one another, share their joys and sorrows, and avoid division, strengthening their sense of community. This was evident in the warm greetings Yasser had for the men that he met at the many stops that we made. Everyone was given a dap. Does everybody know what a dap is? No, I can tell by Bill's. It's that handshake where you hug each, kind of pull each other close to each other and touch elbows. That's called a dap. I didn't learn that until I read this book called Black Buck. Then I had to look it up. It's the handshake where they grab hands and they come close to each other and push up to their elbows right together. DAP, D-A-P. I know. And if they were, they hugged, they had a dap, they hugged, and if they were family, they would kiss on both cheeks. We saw this over and over again, and we traveled to 8 cities, more than 1,000 miles. Sunnis like Yasser are taught by the Quran to treat others with mercy and respect, and to maintain peace and justice. This public affection, of course, does not happen between men and women. However, women in Morocco are not subservient to men as they are in stricter Arabic countries. They are respected. They have careers outside the home. And they dress, although modestly, often in Western garb, but they are still treated with respect, but a little bit of distance by the men. We were invited to the home of a teacher. She was a teacher, and her husband was a pharmaceutical sales rep for dinner one night. And this is part of the haute tours. They make sure you experience some of the culture. And she was very interesting teacher. She'd been teaching for 20 years, had 200 students every day, teaching them French. And most Moroccans speak French fluently as they do Arabic. Now, the wearing of the hijab, the headscarf that you saw earlier, signifies a woman's dedication to Allah. And women choose if or when they are going to start wearing it. The hijab, of course, also means that only the woman's husband sees her complete beauty. This is also why women in the mosque have separate places to wash and to pray. The spaces might be separate, but they are no less ornate. It puzzled me as to why Arab women felt they needed to hide their hair and basic bodily functions, such as the washing of feet and hands. So I asked the female guide that we had at the King Hassan Mosque in Casablanca. Her answer was, why would we want to tempt them, the men? It's just better to be separate. So I'm wondering, there could be something in that, right, women? Are the Muslims right? Do men have so much testosterone that we should all be that careful about tempting them? Or was it just Muslim men? Which leads me to the practice of prayer itself. Devout Muslims pray 5 times a day. When they pray, they recite verses from the Quran, verses they know by heart, and as you can see from this photo, I hope I got the right one here. No. No, I guess, oh yeah, you can see on the pillar There's a verse from the Quran inscribed on the pillar. And the phrases, their prayers are prayers that they memorize. They're verses from the Quran, and they're included in the decor of these mosques in very beautiful script. But according to Yasser, praying is like meditation. It is centering and grounding. It cultivates humility. And as C.S. Lewis once said, prayer doesn't change God, it changes me. Possibly in our stressful and violent world, we could all benefit from a little more prayer or meditation. Few of us take the time to meditate our stress away. Would we have a less violent society if, like the Islams, we prayed more often? For more than 1,200 years, Moroccans have had a monarch, and now he is King Mohammed VI. Currently, Morocco is a country with very little violence or crime, although that has not always been the case. During Mohammed V's reign, it looked as though the country might progress towards democracy. However, his successor, Hassan II, Morocco entered what it was called the Years of Lead. From the 1960s to the 1980s, there was a harsh political repression and state violence against dissidents. After the death of Hassan II, activists and journalists looked to a future of change and democratic transition. In 1999, Mohammed VI established the Independent Commission of Arbitration Indemnity Commission to investigate state crimes against civilians. Universal health care and free public education, taking the person right up through college, evolved. Movement toward democracy, however, faltered in the aftermath of the Arab Spring, which, I mean, I went to Morocco thinking the Arab Spring was nothing but a good thing. But what happened was monarchies like in Morocco found themselves facing the loss of power and decided that they really didn't want to lose their power. But I think Morocco's king is pretty much a benevolent dictator. People seem to think he's a good man, and they trust what he's going to do. Although they will tell you, if you say, well, what happens when he's gone and the next king comes along? They'll say, well, we don't know. But the future of Morocco's tenuous and complex relationship with democracy is uncertain. And I'm pretty sure that visitors like us don't see any undercurrents of dissatisfaction. It seems to be a very happy country. Finally, the visual impact of this mosque, which was built by Hassan II, it's called the Hassan II Mosque in Casablanca, is truly mind-blowing. Can you imagine at Ramadan, 25,000 people can pray in the inside of this mosque. And on the outside, you can get another 80,000. The inside to me looked as big as a football field. Huge. And then there's the outside. Apparently this doesn't happen that many times a year, but it does happen. What a sense of community and connection to bring a huge community like that together to pray. The mosque was completed in 1993. The minaret for it is 210 meters tall. It's one of the world's tallest. It has a retractable roof, and it's situated so that a section of it sits directly over the Atlantic Ocean. Because the Quran tells us God's throne was upon the water. I don't believe many of us Unitarian Universalists could exist under the number of rules and regulations and the religious practices of Islam. We are too used to our freedoms and our wine, but it was enlightening to spend time with people who do not find such restrictions limiting, who in fact find their spiritual lives are enhanced by these religious practices. I discovered a great deal of common ground: belief in the dignity and inherent worth of others, care for the environment, the goal of leading with love and kindness, and the value of having a religion that's a comfort to all of its believers. The value of a religion that truly believes we are brothers and sisters in faith. We are our brother's keepers. The poet Hesiod from 700 BC is often cited as the earliest source of the saying, "Observe due measure," because moderation is best in all things. When we apply this wisdom to our religious lives, no matter what belief those lives are based on, all of humanity wins. I went to Morocco knowing this intellectually, everything in moderation, but seeing it in action really deepened my understanding of it at a very emotional and spiritual level. And for me, that's where travel wins every time. The universe sent me to Morocco, and I learned a lot and experienced a lot. So be it, and blessed be. And our final hymn, you see the feral cat enjoying his life right in front of the mosque. Our final hymn is Blue Boat Home, which I hopefully got the music to pad you to for, and you should have the words in your order of service.
I just want to say, you have made me homesick for Mississauga because all my friends are Muslim or Sikh. I have beautiful hijab and burqa, and even the Hindus gifted me with a sari.
Uh-huh.
I could have brought them down.
Well, that's a good thing and a bad thing, to be sad.
is set up on this thing. It's an eyesore.
You did a good job. You did a very good job. We sing this all the time at West Shore in Cleveland, and you did a great job. Yeah. Our closing words come to us from Sherry Woodbury. Citizens of our communities, our nation, our world, let us continue to grow as citizens of our communities, our nation, our world. Let us work to build the common good for ourselves and for generations to come. May it be so. Amen. And will you join me in the words for
Announcements.
Oh, sorry. We won't extinguish the chalice yet.
I might have it, but we're gonna have to change the TV so we can.
Oh.
We can do that.
Yes, we can. Yes, we are done. Yes.
All right. We'll make a little switch.
I have to.
So last week, this is our last video. Next week is our pledge event. Last week, the video, we saw how we still have a very long way to go to living up to the ideals in the Declaration of Independence, the ideals of equality and everybody having a good life. And today, we're going to see a little more hopeful video, and it's put on by Ancestry.com. And